There is a moment that comes for every man, a moment of brutal honesty when you have to stop making excuses and admit the real problem. It is not your boss. It is not the economy. It is not bad luck. The reason your life feels like it is stuck in a rut, the reason those big dreams you have are not going anywhere, is because of a silent killer. It is a lack of order. You have goals that burn inside you, ambitions that demand to be seen, but they are suffocating under the weight of your own chaos. That messy desk, those scattered thoughts, the endless scroll on your phone, these are not just harmless habits. They are the silent assassins of your future. The world does not hand out rewards for confusion. It pays out for clarity. It pays out for clarity. It pays out for focus. It pays out for control. You have to make yourself get your life together. Do not sit around waiting for a lightning bolt of motivation to strike you. You have to build that motivation yourself, brick by brick, with discipline. The kind of power that changes your life is not found in random bursts of effort when you feel like it. It is found in the quiet, consistent, structured actions you take every single day. You cannot climb a mountain if your mind is drowning in a flood of disorder. You have to start small. Get your space in order. Get a handle on your time. Get your thoughts organized. Every single time you bring order to one small part of your life, you are tightening your grip on your own destiny. When you finally master your daily routine, you master your entire reality. You need to understand this truth all the way down in your bones. People who live in a state of disorganization are just dreamers. But people who get organized, they are the ones who actually achieve things. The real difference between a guy who struggles his whole life and a guy who conquers his goals is not talent. It is the system they use. When your days are actually planned out, when you know what your top priorities are, and when your environment is set up to help you win, you become a force that cannot be stopped. The weak ones sit around waiting for inspiration to hit them like a wave. The strong ones build systems that generate that inspiration on a daily basis. You have to force yourself to make a plan. You have to force yourself to stick to that schedule. You have to force yourself to keep everything in order, especially on the days when your emotions are screaming at you to just quit and be lazy. Every single time you beat laziness by sticking to your structure, you are sharpening your edge. Every time you take a situation that is total chaos and bring order to it, you are leveling up your own power. Success does not belong to the lucky ones. It belongs to the man who can command himself. The man who can direct his time like it is the most precise weapon in the world. Do not make the mistake of thinking that freedom means having no control. Real freedom, the kind that actually matters, is the direct result of having absolute order in your life. When everything is organized, you move through your day with a calm confidence. You can think clearly. You act with precision. You live your life with real intention, not just reacting to whatever happens to you. The man with a scattered mind loses years of his life just chasing after fragments of his own energy that he lets slip away. The man who is organized, he can compress decades of progress into just a few days. So you have to get up and start rebuilding your own order. Clear out the mess, both the one outside you and the one inside your head. Create routines that are so strong that failure is no longer even an option. You have to take control of your time before your time takes control of your time, before your time takes control of you. Do what you know you have to do, not just what you're... Because when you finally force yourself to get your life organized, you stop just barely surviving and you start actually conquering. The power to dominate your own destiny begins the very second you bring some structure to your personal chaos and you refuse to let anything stay out of place ever again. Chaos is what kills all progress. Order is what multiplies it. Order is what multiplies it. An undisciplined mind is a battlefield. It is a place where your dreams get slaughtered by 1,000 tiny distractions. Every single time you let your day slip into disorder, every time you allow confusion to take the wheel, you are destroying a piece of your own potential. Success cannot even breathe in an atmosphere of chaos. It suffocates. It dies in scattered thoughts and in hours that are just completely wasted. If you want to have real power, If you want clarity, if you want to grow, you have to first bring order to your life. And you cannot do it when you feel ready. You have to do it right now, because every second that you live without any structure is a second that is stolen from the future you are supposed to have. Just look around you. The people who rise to the top are not always the most naturally gifted guys you have ever met. They are the ones who are the most organized. They know exactly what they need to do. They know exactly what they need to do. They know exactly when they need to do it, and they know exactly how they need to do it. They plan their day. They guard their time. They protect their focus like it is a treasure worth more than gold. Meanwhile, the people who just drift through life, just hoping that things will somehow magically work out, they get absolutely crushed by their own lack of order. The truth here is painful, but it is also very simple. You either get your life organized, or your disorganization will get your failure organized for you. Order is not just some small, nice habit to have. It is the entire foundation of achievement. Without it, everything else you try to build will just collapse. You cannot think clearly in a room that is pure chaos. You cannot dream big when your schedule is just filled with noise and nothingness. And you definitely cannot rise up when your days are spent just reacting to things instead of actually directing your own life. Structure gives you power. It takes all your random efforts and turns them into real measurable results. It transforms scattered energy into momentum that you cannot stop. When you know what actually matters and you act on it every single day, your whole life becomes a force of precision. Discipline is the bridge you have to build between total chaos and total control. You have to train yourself to command your own actions, even when everything inside you wants to rebel. There is a lazy voice in your head that is always whispering, "I will do it later." That is the exact same voice that is keeping you average. You do not silence it by arguing with it. You silence it by arguing with it. You silence it by acting immediately. You act decisively. You act relentlessly. The more you enforce order on yourself, the more power you gain over your own circumstances. The man who can direct his own fate. You cannot build an empire on a foundation that is made of cluttered thoughts and tasks that are only half done. Every great mind you have ever heard of, every leader you look up to, every single success story you admire, they were all born from structure. They planned their days. They controlled their environment, and they moved through life with intent. They understood something fundamental. Consistency is what breeds real power. Even after the initial passion fades away, discipline is what carries you forward. Order is what keeps you walking long after the excitement of the new idea has died. It is not about being perfect all the time. It is about being precise. You have to ask yourself some hard questions. How much time do you waste every single week just because you're disorganized? How many opportunities have slipped right through your fingers simply because you were not ready for them, because your mind was all scattered, because your focus was buried under a pile of trivial distractions that do not matter? You cannot win a battle when you have misplaced your sword. You cannot achieve greatness when your mind is just a cluttered mess. The unorganized person is always one step behind everyone else, not because they are less capable, but because they are always unprepared. The future does not wait around for people who are not ready for it. You have to force yourself to take control right now. Get your surroundings organized until they actually reflect clarity. A clean space is not just about making things look nice. It is a signal you send to your own brain that says, "I am in charge here." You need to plan your day before the day. Even get started. Make structure your shield against the enemy of procrastination. When you live your life by design, and not just by default, you become completely unshakable. Your priorities finally line up. Your purpose gets sharper. Your whole life starts to gain a real rhythm. And that rhythm, that steady, powerful march of order, that is what turns completely ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Do not ever underestimate the power of small, organized habits. Waking up on time every time, sticking to a written plan, actually finishing what you started. These actions might seem simple, maybe even too simple, but they build a fortress of strength inside of you. Each day that you live in order, you reinforce your own self-respect. Each moment of structure sharpens your mind. You start to feel a sense of control that the chaos could never ever offer you. You stop just reacting to life. You start commanding it. The disorganized person lives in a state of constant stress because their life is a storm that they just refuse to calm down. But when you create order, peace follows you. Clarity brings real confidence. You start to move faster. You make sharper decisions. You think deeper about things. Suddenly, you are not at the mercy of your circumstances anymore. You are the one designing them. That is the true power of getting organized. It makes you the master of your own moments. There is going to be resistance. Your emotions are going to fight you every step of the way. Your old habits are going to tempt you back to the couch. Your comfort zone is going to whisper lies in your ear, but you have to force yourself anyway. Order is not built when things are easy. It is forged in the fire of discomfort. Every single time you choose structure over a lazy impulse, you build more strength. Every time you make a plan, and then you actually execute it, you prove to yourself that you are the one in control. That is how real power grows, through deliberate, consistent action. Never forget that chaos does not just waste your time. It steals your entire destiny. It keeps you distracted, confused, and weak. But order, real order, it multiplies your energy. It magnifies your focus. And it accelerates your growth like nothing else can. It is the secret language of success. The difference between a guy who struggles and a guy who struggles and a guy who conquers is not talent. It is the system. It is not emotion. It is the execution. So stand up right now and take charge. Do not let another single day fall into the hands of disorder. Get your mind organized. Get your space organized. Get your habits organized. Get your whole mission organized. Build a structure that is so strong that no storm can ever shake it. When you finally control your time, you control your whole life. When you bring order to chaos, you bring purpose to your entire existence. Chaos kills progress, but order multiplies it. And the moment you start living by that truth, there is nothing on this earth that can stop your rise. Discipline is the foundation that all real power is built on. Without it, your talent just rusts away. Your potential dies on the vine, and your dreams collapse under the weight of your own inconsistency. Every strong man you have ever respected, every victorious soul, every single story of greatness begins with just one truth. Discipline is what decides your destiny. It is the invisible force that shapes weak intentions into an unstoppable force of execution. You can wish for things all day long. You can hope. You can dream all you want. But until you build the discipline to act, no matter what you are feeling, your power is going to stay buried underneath a mountain of excuses. Discipline is not just a word you say. It is a weapon. It is the weapon that separates the men who actually achieve things from the men who almost did. You have to understand that nothing in this life just bends to the lazy person. The world does not reward the people who wait around for the perfect mood or the ideal moment. Real power belongs to the man who shows up and does the work when it is hard. The man who keeps moving forward, even when his mind is screaming at him to just stop. That is what discipline is. It is doing what has to be done even after the fire of motivation has gone completely cold. It is easy to work hard when you are feeling all inspired. That means nothing. Your true strength is revealed when you act without feeling like it at all. When your body is exhausted, when your emotions are heavy, and yet you still get up and you still move forward. That is the moment you become powerful. Discipline builds respect. First, you start to respect yourself. Then the rest of the world follows. When you actually keep the promises you make to yourself, even the really small ones, you start to trust your own word. You stop making deals with your own weakness. You stop delaying your own greatness. You stop delaying your own greatness. Every single time you beat the urge to quit, you are forging another link in the chain of strength that holds your whole life together. Discipline is the quiet architect working behind every victory you will ever have. It is not loud. It does not go looking for applause. It just works silently in the background, turning chaos into control and turning your potential into real progress. Most people lose in life, not because they lack ability, but because they lack order. They live their lives based on how they feel, not based on a decision they made. One day they are on fire with motivation. The next day they are ice cold. They let their moods rule their actions, and by doing that they just hand over all their power. Discipline does not care how you feel. It demands consistency. It teaches you that your emotions are only temporary, but your commitment is supposed to be eternal. You cannot build an empire with soft habits. You cannot master your life when you keep obeying what your comfort zone tells you to do. Comfort is the enemy of greatness, and discipline is the only cure. You have to train your mind to obey you. Discipline begins in your thoughts long before it ever touches your actions. When that alarm clock goes off in the morning, your mind is going to whisper, "Just 5 more minutes." You have to crush that voice. When your body aches and your goals feel like they are 1,000,000 miles away, your mind will say, "Just rest today." You have to crush that voice. Every single time you say no to your own weakness, you get stronger. Every time you get up when it is easier to stay down, you are expanding your power. Greatness is not given to the people who are ruled by their emotions. It is earned by the people who are disciplined. Discipline is actually freedom, but it is freedom that is disguised as restriction. It might look like you're just controlling yourself, but it is actually liberation. The man who cannot control himself is a slave. He is a slave to his own laziness, to every distraction, to his own fear. But the man who can command his own mind, his own habits, his own time, that man becomes completely unstoppable. When you live with discipline, you are no longer being pulled around by every little temptation. You are being guided by your purpose. You gain a sense of peace because your path is finally clear. You waste no time because every single moment of your day is serving your mission. That is what true freedom feels like. It is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It is mastering the strength to do what you absolutely must do. There are no shortcuts to greatness. Every successful person you admire, every story of transformation you have ever heard, they all stand on the exact same foundation. Relentless discipline. The athlete trains long after everyone else has gone to sleep. The builder keeps working right through the fatigue. The visionary stays focused while the rest of the world is completely distracted by nonsense. They are not superhuman. They are just consistent. They understand something simple but profound. Repetition is what builds your reputation. Steady, boring effort is what builds results that cannot be shaken. Discipline is what transforms completely ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. When you live with discipline, you start to see life through a different lens. You stop chasing quick rewards that do not last. You start investing in power that will last for the long term. You stop just reacting to what happens to you. You start directing where you want to go. You no longer ask yourself, "Can I do this?" You look in the mirror and you declare, "I will do this." Your time becomes something sacred. Your actions become deliberate. Your energy becomes precious. The undisciplined man wastes his strength on things that do not matter at all. The disciplined man channels all his strength into the things that actually build empires. It is not about being perfect, not even close. It is about being consistent. You are going to stumble sometimes. You are going to fail. But discipline teaches you to stand back up again without even hesitating. Every failure just becomes feedback for you to use. Every obstacle just becomes more training. Discipline hardens your spirit. It sharpens your focus. It makes you immune to excuses. It makes you immune to your own weakness. The more you practice it, the more you realize it is not punishment at all. It is preparation. Every early morning you get up. Every hard choice you make. Every sacrifice you accept. It is all building something greater inside of you. It builds your character. It builds your control. It builds your confidence. When you finally master discipline, you no longer need to go looking for motivation. You move because movement has become your nature. You act because you have trained your mind to obey your purpose, not your temporary emotions. That is the moment you become truly dangerous. When your actions are no longer dependent on how you feel, but on who you have decided to become. The disciplined mind is completely unshakable, and the unshakable always rise to the top. So you have to force yourself to be disciplined. No one else is going to do it for you. Life does not just hand success over to people with soft hearts. It gives it to the ones who demand it through relentless consistency. Cut out the distractions. Get your time organized. Build habits that actually line up with your mission. Keep your word even when no one is watching you. Be your own commander, because discipline is not just the foundation of power. It is power itself. When you truly possess it, you can achieve absolutely anything. You can overcome everything, and you can become unstoppable in everything you set out to do. Every single minute that you waste living in a state of disorder is a dream that gets delayed. Time is the most ruthless currency that life gives you. It does not stop for anyone. It does not wait. And it never, ever efference and flurry proves the time you waste. Every moment of distraction, every hour you spend in confusion, every day you live without any structure, it is quietly robbing you of the future that you claim you want so badly. You might not see it happening while it is happening, but it is there. Your dreams are getting colder while you just scroll through your phone. Your purpose is fading away while you keep delaying. Your potential is dying, buried under the weight of your own disorganization. The truth here is brutal. Every second that slips away into chaos is pushing your destiny further and further away from you, and the worst part is you will never ever get those seconds back. Disorder is not harmless. It is a silent killer of all ambition. It does not strike you suddenly. It drains you slowly over time. One missed task turns into 2 missed tasks. One goal you postponed turns into a habit of postponing everything. And pretty soon, you wake up one day and you are just surrounded by unfinished plans and a whole lot of lost time. You start to blame your circumstances, but the real enemy is not out there somewhere. It is inside of you. It is the lack of structure. It is the failure to set priorities. It is the acceptance of confusion. These are the real reasons your dreams are staying just dreams. Every minute you spend without any real direction adds another brick to the wall that is standing between you and your destiny. You have to face this reality. Disorder is just weakness, but it is weakness dressed up like comfort. It lets you feel like you are busy while you are actually achieving nothing. It keeps you in motion, but it keeps you far away from any real progress. You tell yourself that you are working hard, but deep down inside you know it is just chaos wearing a mask that looks like productivity. The difference between successful people and the people who only wish they were successful is not luck. It is not even intelligence. It is structure. The organized mind takes time and turns it into a tool that builds things. The disorganized mind takes time and turns it into an enemy that fights against them. Every single dream demands a price against them. Every single dream demands a price, and that price is always discipline. You cannot hold on to your big vision while you are also clinging to your disorder. You have to learn how to take control of your schedule. You have to take control of your surroundings. You have to take control of your thoughts. Each minute that you master brings you one step closer to your goal. Each minute that you waste pushes it one step further away. Time respects the people who respect order. When you plan your day with real intention, when you guard your focus like it is a treasure, you move through life with real power. But when you let your day control you, when you live in a state of constant chaos, you just become a slave to every distraction that comes along. Look honestly at the patterns of your own life. How many of your dreams have been delayed just because you were not ready when the moment came, because you did not organize your plan, your priorities, or your path? How many chances just slipped away because your life was in total disorder when opportunity knocked on your door? You cannot expect success to just wait around for you to finally get your life together. It moves fast, and only the people who are prepared can catch it. Every minute you spend getting organized is an investment in your own future. Every minute you spend in confusion is a debt that you will have to pay later with regret. Disorder makes you reactive. You spend all your time just putting out fires instead of actually building your empire. You chase after one emergency after another instead of executing your real priorities. You feel tired all the time, but it is not physical exhaustion. It is mental chaos. A mind that is cluttered cannot create anything of value. A spirit that is scattered cannot rise up. When your thoughts are disorganized, your actions lose all direction and your energy just leaks out through 1,000 small distractions. But when you finally bring order to your life, everything changes. Your focus gets razor sharp. Your energy multiplies. You stop chasing after things and you start commanding them. The truth is, success is built in a state of order. Every great achievement you have ever seen was born from structure, not from spontaneity. The disciplined man plans his hours. The undisciplined man just wastes them. The organized person owns their time. The disorganized person is owned by it. You cannot blame fate for the results of your own confusion. The world belongs to the people who plan, who prepare, and who execute with precision. That is not just control. That is creation. If you want power, you have to create order. Start with your physical space. Clean it. Simplify it. Make it actually reflect the clarity you want in your mind. Then move on to your time. Plan your days before they even begin. Protect your mornings like they are sacred. End your nights by reviewing what you did and what you did and what you will do tomorrow. When you live by design, not by accident, you start to feel truly alive again. You start to see real progress because your energy is finally lined up with your direction. That alignment is what transforms wasted minutes into real milestones of success. Understand this. Deep down, the clock is always running. Every single minute is either an investment in your future or a loss. The people who rise up are not the ones who have more time than you. They are the ones who manage their time with precision. The exact same 24 hours that build a millionaire are the same 24 hours that build a failure. The difference is always order. The successful ones use their minutes like soldiers, sending each one into battle with a clear purpose. The lost ones just let their minutes drift away like leaves in the wind. You decide which side you are on every single day. So stop giving your time away to chaos. Stop surrendering to every distraction. Stop delaying your own life because you refuse to get it organized. Power belongs to the man who can control his minutes. Because minutes turn into hours, hours turn into days, and days turn into your entire destiny. When you waste a single day, you do not just lose 24 hours. You lose the opportunity to move closer to the life you were meant to build. Every minute wasted in disorder is a dream delayed. And one day you are going to wake up and realize that your dream did not actually die. You just never made the time for it. Do not let that happen. Get your thoughts in order. Get your space in order. Get your actions in order. Discipline your hours as if they were made of diamonds, because they are. Time is the currency of greatness, and only the people who spend it wisely ever buy their own freedom. From this moment on, let no minute be wasted. Turn chaos into control. Turn confusion into clarity. Turn hesitation into execution. Because when you master your time, you master your time, you master your life. And when your life is finally in order, your dreams stop waiting for you. They arrive. The space you live in, the environment around you, it is a mirror of what is going on inside your head. Clean up one, and you will strengthen the other. Take a look around you right now. The room you are in, the desk you work at, the clothes on the floor, the dust building up in the corner. It all speaks louder than you think. Your surroundings are not just physical things. They are a direct reflection of your internal world. A room that is cluttered reveals a mind that is cluttered. A space that is disordered exposes a spirit that is distracted. And when your environment is chaotic, it feeds that chaos. right back into you. It steals your focus. It drains your energy. It suffocates your motivation. You cannot expect to have clarity in your life when you're surrounded by confusion. You cannot expect to have any peace while you are living in a state of disorder. If you want to sharpen your thoughts, you have to start by cleansing the space that holds them. When you clean up your environment, you are not just moving objects around, you are moving energy. You are creating space for growth. You are making room for focus. You are carving out a place for peace. The act of getting organized is not about being neat for neatness' sake. It is about power. Every single item in your space carries a little bit of weight. Every object you do not need is a small distraction, whispering for just a little bit of your attention. You might not even notice it, but it is there. It is tugging at your mind, keeping you just a little bit restless. When you get rid of the unnecessary stuff, when you create real order, your thoughts start to line up. Your focus gets deeper. Your confidence gets stronger. You start to breathe differently because the chaos around you is no longer demanding your attention every second. A disorganized environment breeds procrastination. It becomes the silent excuse behind every action you delay. You tell yourself you will start working when things feel right, but things never feel right because your surroundings are constantly feeding the disorder right back into your soul. The environment you live in is either empowering your ambition or it is quietly sabotaging it. When you walk into a space that is clean, that is focused, that feels calm, your mind naturally mirrors that energy. You think sharper, you act faster, you feel lighter. But when you walk into a mess, your mind sinks under an invisible weight. Your thoughts get blurry, your emotions get dull, your spirit slows down. The environment you create is a declaration of who you really are. It tells the world, and more importantly, it tells yourself, whether you live with control or whether you just surrender to chaos. The greatest performers, the deepest thinkers, the most powerful leaders in all of history understood this truth completely. They guarded their environment like it was something sacred, because to them they knew that their surroundings were not just where they lived. It was where their entire destiny was being shaped. Every wall, every item, every piece of that space carried energy. And that energy could either build them up or break them down. If your goal is clarity, if your mission is to build strength, you have to start by getting your environment lined up with your intentions. Clean off the desk. Throw out the junk you do not need. Get your time, your tools, and your space organized. Do not wait for motivation to strike before you do this. Create the motivation through the motion of doing it. When your surroundings start to reflect discipline, your mind will follow right along. The simple act of cleaning is actually an act of self-respect. You are telling yourself in a very clear way, I deserve to have clarity. I deserve to have clarity. I deserve to be in control. I deserve to have some peace. Think about how you feel after you organize a space. There is this sense of lightness, this feeling of calm, this sense of renewal. That is not a coincidence. That is your mind responding to order. Human beings are wired to thrive in environments that support focus and simplicity. The fewer distractions your eyes can see, the more space your mind has to actually think. Every clean corner becomes a little source of mental energy. Every bit of order reinforces your sense of control, and every act of tidying builds just a little more momentum toward mastery. But do not stop with just the physical space. Your environment is also the people you choose to surround yourself with. It is the words you hear every day. It is the energy you allow into your life. If your circle is toxic, if your conversations are always negative, if the atmosphere around you is draining, then it does not matter how clean your desk is. Your mental environment is still polluted. You have to protect your peace. You have to distance yourself from anything or anyone that is trying to keep you small, that fills your air with doubt or with drama. You cannot build a powerful mind while you are stuck in a weak environment. Your phone, your notifications, your whole digital world, they are all part of your environment too. The clutter on your screen is just as dangerous as the clutter in your room. Every notification you do not need, every endless scroll through social media, every meaningless piece of noise is robbing you of your focus. Clean up your digital world with the same level of discipline. Unsubscribe from things that just distract you. Organize your digital workspace. Remove everything that does not serve your growth. Every single simplification you make adds another layer of strength to your mental clarity. Understand this deeply. Your environment is your silent coach. It is either pushing you forward every day or it is pulling you backward. You cannot rise up in a space that is constantly dragging your energy down. The moment you take control of your environment, you reclaim your authority over your own mind. You stop reacting to the chaos around you and you start commanding your surroundings to serve your purpose. You become deliberate. Every object in its proper place. Every task in its proper order. Every moment directed toward your growth. Clean your environment, and you will feel your thoughts get sharper. You will notice how much calmer you become. You will see how much more creative and focused you are. It is not magic. It is simple cause and effect. Order on the outside creates order on the inside. It is a direct reflection of your discipline, and discipline, as you know, is power. When you live in alignment with order, all those distractions lose their grip on you. Procrastination loses all its excuses. You start to operate with real precision. You start to feel completely unstoppable. So look around you right now. Is your environment helping you rise up, or is it holding you back? Does it actually reflect your biggest goals, or does it just reflect your confusion? Change it, starting now. Clear out everything that does not belong. Simplify things until every single inch of your space feels like it was built for progress. Do not wait for motivation to do this. Let the order you create be what creates your motivation. Clean your space. Clear out your digital life. Align your entire surroundings with your biggest dreams. Because your environment is not just where you happen to live. It is where your entire future is being built. And when your environment is finally clean, your mind becomes strong, your purpose becomes razor sharp, and your path forward becomes completely unstoppable. Your environment mirrors your mind. Clean one, and you will strengthen the other until both of them reflect the greatness you were born to live. No great destiny was ever built on a foundation of confusion. Confusion destroys all sense of direction, and without any direction, even your strongest desires will just collapse. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have all the dreams. You can have all the ambition you can hold. But if your mind is scattered everywhere, your purpose becomes completely powerless. Confusion is the fog that blinds your ambition. It is the storm that drowns your discipline. It is the storm that drowns your discipline. It is the quiet destroyer of your entire destiny. You cannot conquer anything when your thoughts are pulling you in 10 different directions at once. Every great destiny begins with clarity, and clarity is always born from order, from focus, and from making decisions. The confused mind hesitates, and hesitation is the death of all progress. Every single time you pause because you do not know where to start, you give fear a chance to take control. Every time you second-guess yourself, you lose all your momentum. Confusion paralyzes action, and action is the only bridge that exists between your vision and your reality. You have to understand that confusion is not some external problem that is happening to you. It is a reflection of your own internal disorder. The more scattered your thoughts are, the weaker your decisions become. The weaker your decisions are, the slower your progress is going to be. Confusion is not harmless at all. It is the slow, steady erosion of your own greatness. Clarity is real power. When your vision is clear, your energy becomes focused. You stop wasting your time chasing after every little opportunity that comes along. You start building the one that actually matters. A confused person works really hard, but they do not move anywhere. They mistake simple motion for actual progress. They mistake effort for having a direction. They are busy all the time, but they are completely unproductive. They are active, but they have no focus. You cannot build a legacy while you are just spinning in circles. Progress does not come from doing more things. It comes from doing the things that actually matter. and doing them with precision and with purpose. You have to train your mind to see right through the fog. Confusion grows and thrives in indecision, and indecision is actually a choice. It is a choice to stay weak. Decide what you really want. Decide who you have to become in order to get it. Decide what has to go, what has to stay, and what is never allowed to distract you again. Every great destiny was built by someone who had the courage to make decisions, even when the path ahead was not completely clear. They did not wait around for perfect certainty. They created their own clarity through taking action. Clarity does not come before you start moving. It comes because you start moving. The confused man waits around for signs from the universe. The focused man creates his own signs. The confused mind is always looking for approval from other people. The focused mind is just looking for progress. You will never build greatness by waiting around for everything to make perfect sense. You make things make sense by moving forward. Every step you take, every plan you actually execute, every failure you learn from, it all carves clarity right out of the chaos. Confusion fades away when you commit to motion. Your environment, your habits, the people you surround yourself with, they all influence the level of confusion you carry around with you. Surround yourself with a lot of noise, and your thoughts will just echo that noise. Live in disorder, and your thoughter and your mind will just mirror it. The more you consume without having any direction, the more lost you are going to become. You have to limit what you let into your mind. You have to protect your mental space like it is a fortress. Every distraction, every pointless conversation, every single hour you waste, it all feeds the confusion. If you want clarity, you have to starve the noise. Focus is the antidote to confusion. When your focus is really sharp, everything that is unnecessary just becomes invisible to you. You start to see exactly what has to be done. You see exactly what has to be done. You see exactly who you need to become in order to do it. You stop chasing after a dozen different goals, and you start mastering just one. That is how real destinies are built, not through scattered effort everywhere, but through power that is concentrated in one direction. Every great achiever you have ever heard of, every builder of empires, every single world changer, they all operated with that kind of clarity of purpose. They knew what they wanted. They knew why they wanted it. They knew why they wanted it. And they knew how they were going to get there. That clarity gave them incredible strength, and that strength gave them results. Confusion weakens you because it divides your attention. A mind that is divided cannot create anything of value. A soul that is fragmented cannot conquer anything. Power only exists in the places where focus lives. The moment you simplify your direction, your whole life accelerates. When you finally decide, you remove all doubt. When you remove all doubt, you make space for real conviction. Conviction is the fire that burns all confusion down to ashes. It gives you the courage to act even when the path in front of you is not perfect. You do not need to have everything in your life completely figured out. You just need to know what your very next step is. That is where clarity always starts. It starts with movement, not with waiting for perfection. When you take one single clear action, the next step will reveal itself to you. But if you stay completely still, waiting for total understanding, you will remain trapped in the fog of hesitation forever. Life rewards the people who are decisive. The universe moves for the man who knows exactly what he wants. Confusion also comes from trying to please absolutely everyone around you. You cannot walk down 10 different paths all at the same time. You cannot live your life based on the expectations of other people and still manage to build your own destiny. You have to decide whose voice actually matters. You have to decide what truly lines up with your own vision. When your life finally becomes a reflection of your own choices and not other people's demands, your mind becomes truly free. And in that freedom, clarity thrives. No great destiny was ever built on confusion because greatness requires precision. You cannot build an empire with shaky hands. You cannot shape your future while you are second-guessing every single move you make. Confusion wastes all the energy that should be spent on just getting things done. It makes you tired. It makes you anxious. It makes you slow. But once you choose clarity, you start moving with real strength. You wake up in the morning with a purpose. You go to sleep at night with a sense of peace. You stop just wandering around and you start actually building. So cut right through the fog. Stop trying to figure everything out all at once. Simplify your goals. Organize your path. Remove the distractions. Trust the decisions you make. Take action. Then review what happened. Make adjustments and move again. That is how clarity grows. It grows through courage, not through sitting in your comfort zone. No great destiny was ever built on confusion, because confusion is the language of people who are lost. But order, focus, and conviction, those are the languages of kings. They are the languages of builders and warriors. The moment you finally silence the confusion and replace it with clarity, you ignite your power. You begin to move with purpose. You act with confidence, and you build your life with clear direction. You no longer just drift along. You dominate. The confused people just hope for change to happen. The clear-minded people actually create it. And when you live with that kind of clarity, your destiny is no longer some distant dream. It becomes an inevitable reality. Getting organized is not about being controlling. It is about being a creator with a clear direction. It is not about putting restraints on your life. It is about designing it with real precision and purpose. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that organization is just a limitation. They think that having structure will kill their freedom, but in reality it is the exact opposite. True freedom, the kind that matters, it only begins right where the chaos ends. Organization gives your energy a clear path to follow. It gives your time a real mission. It gives your actions a rhythm that just builds momentum naturally. It does not put a cage around your potential. It channels it. Without any direction, your creation just becomes confusion. Without any structure, even your deepest passion will eventually burn itself out. You cannot build anything great from effort that is just scattered everywhere. You build it from focused execution, one deliberate step at a time. When you organize your life, you are not trying to control every single little outcome. You are shaping the environment that allows your very best self to finally come out and play. Order actually gives birth to more creativity. When your mind is finally clear, when your surroundings are aligned, and when your schedule has some discipline, new ideas start to flow effortlessly. Chaos chokes off all inspiration. A cluttered space breeds a cluttered mind every single time. But a structured life gives your imagination some room to finally breathe. You start to see patterns you never noticed before. You see opportunities. You see solutions that the confusion had buried. Order does not limit your creativity. It amplifies it. The undisciplined people like to call the organized people rigid, but they just do not understand that organization is the actual foundation of mastery. The greatest artists, the deepest thinkers, the most innovative creators, they all live by a system. Not because they are afraid of chaos, but because they understand deep down that controlling your time means controlling your destiny. The painter who organizes all his tools does not lose any freedom. He gains the power to express himself without any delay. The leader who plans out his day does not lose his spontaneity. He makes sure that every spontaneous act he takes is still leading him toward his purpose. Organization is not a prison sentence. It is a map. It tells your effort exactly where it needs to go so it never gets lost along the way. Most people just drift through their lives. They react to things instead of creating anything. They wake up without a plan. They move without any intention. And they end their days just wondering where all their time went. That is not really living. That is just surviving. The organized individual does not just hope for progress to happen. He builds it. He wakes up with a clear direction. He moves with precision. Every single task, every action, every habit, it all lines up with a much larger vision. And that alignment creates an unstoppable force. It turns completely ordinary hours into the bricks that build empires. Organization gives you control over the things you can actually control, and it gives you peace about the things you cannot. It gets rid of unnecessary decisions and cuts through all the mental noise. When you plan your day, you free up your mind to focus on what actually matters. You stop wasting your precious energy on trivial chaos. The disorganized mind is always exhausted, not because it works any harder, but because it leaks all its energy out through confusion. Organization seals up those leaks. It turns all that scattered effort into one concentrated beam of pure power. That focus is exactly what separates the dreamers from the people who actually achieve things. To organize your life is to show some respect for your own potential. You are saying to yourself in a very clear voice, my time matters, my dreams matter, my dreams matter, my direction matters. You are building a system that supports your greatness instead of suffocating it. Systems create consistency, and consistency creates unstoppable momentum. Every morning that is planned, every goal that is written down, every step that is tracked, it all compounds into a feeling of progress that is absolutely unstoppable. Organization is not the death of your passion. It is the discipline that keeps your passion alive, long after the initial emotion has faded away. The unorganized person lives in a constant state of reaction. He is always adjusting, always feeling completely overwhelmed. He runs out of time, not because the day is too short, but because his direction is completely blurred. He confuses simple motion with real progress. He is always busy, but he is almost never effective. But the organized person creates a state of flow. He moves through his day with a calm strength. He is not rushing around. He is not panicking, because his structure is carrying the weight that the confusion used to carry. That is what real peace feels like. It is not being completely still. It is having perfect balance while you are in motion. Every great destiny is written through systems. The champion trains on a schedule. The entrepreneur builds routines that sustain his focus. The visionary plans his work before he actually performs it. These habits do not restrict them at all. They liberate them. A mind that knows when to act, how to act, and why it is acting is a weapon that is sharper than any amount of raw talent. Organization builds reliability, and reliability builds trust. Trust in yourself and trust from other people. People naturally follow those who move with clarity. Opportunities come to those who are ready for them. Organization prepares you for both. To live without any order is to live in a constant cycle of repeating the same mistakes. Confusion just repeats the same cycles because it never learns anything. But the organized mind reviews what happened. It refines its approach, and it rises higher. It measures its progress. It tracks the lessons it learns, and it evolves with real purpose. It is not about being perfect at all. It is about being deliberate. Every small system you create, from how you start your day to how you end your night, is another step you take toward mastery. The power of order is not found in complexity. It is found in consistency. Always remember, organization is not about control. It is about creation with direction. Control is based on fear. It tries to restrict everything. Creation with direction is based on power. It expands things. You are not getting organized to trap yourself in boring routines. You are organizing your life so you can design your future with precision. You are taking all the chaos that life throws at you, and you are turning it into harmony. You are turning every hour into progress. You are turning every effort into impact. You are turning every single day into momentum. When your life finally becomes organized, you stop wasting any energy wondering what you are supposed to do next. You know your purpose. You know your plan. You know your path. That kind of clarity allows you to live with real intensity. You stop scattering your effort everywhere, and you start magnifying it. You move from making noise to making music. You move from making noise to making music. You move from living in chaos to creating a composition. You move from just barely surviving to actually creating the life you want. So build your systems. Plan your hours. Structure. Do not let your disorganization masquerade as some kind of freedom. True freedom is the ability to move with purpose, not to wander around in confusion. When your energy is finally aligned with your direction, creation becomes effortless. You are no longer controlled by the clock. You command it. You are no longer a prisoner of your circumstances. You become the architect of them. Organization is not control. It is creation with direction. When you finally master it, you do not just live your life. You design it. Success responds to structure, not to emotion. Emotion might be what lights the fire in the beginning, but structure is what keeps that fire burning long after the motivation has faded away. The world is absolutely full of passionate people who start off really strong and then they just fade away quickly. Why? Because they rely on how they feel instead of relying on what they feel, instead of relying on what they have actually built. Emotion is the spark, but structure is the whole system. It is the difference between a temporary rush of energy and a permanent rise to the top. Success does not bow down to your feelings. It obeys discipline. It obeys process. It obeys order. You cannot build anything great on moods that change every time the wind blows. You build it on a framework that stands strong even when the biggest storms come rolling in. Emotion screams at you, demanding results right now. But structure builds results that are actually built to last. Every single dreamer has moments of inspiration, those late-night surges of ambition where everything suddenly feels possible. But the people who actually win are the ones who wake up the very next morning and they follow a system, even when that fire has cooled down to just embers. The truth is very simple. Passion is what starts the race, but structure is what finishes it. Your heart might ignite the vision, but your plan is what keeps it alive. Success does not care how excited you are. It rewards the people who execute with precision day after day. No matter what their mood is, no matter what the weather is like, no matter what they are feeling, the man who is ruled by his emotions works really hard when he feels inspired, but the man who is ruled by structure works hard because the plan says it is time to work. One of them waits around for the right mood to show up. The other one just moves according to the plan. One of them depends on excitement to get things done. The other one depends on systems. The difference between being average and being exceptional is found right there in that consistency. Emotion is temporary fuel. It runs out really fast. Structure is the engine. It carries you forward even when the road gets really long and even when the fire inside you is flickering low. You cannot trust your emotions to lead you anywhere good. They are unstable, they are unpredictable, they are easily swayed by everything. Structure is the calm commander that leads you right through the confusion with a direction that never wavers. Every empire you have ever seen, every business, every transformation, it was all built on a foundation of structure. Look closely at anyone who has achieved something truly great in this world. Right behind their success, you are going to find a blueprint. You are going to find a set of habits, a set of systems, and a set of disciplines that they repeated over and over again, endlessly. They do not rise to the top because they always feel like working. They rise because they have built a life that does not depend on their feelings to function at all. The unstructured man just drowns in a sea of good intentions. The structured man takes those intentions and turns them into actual results. Emotion is the voice of your impulses, but structure is the language of mastery. Success is actually mathematical. It responds to patterns, not to feelings. It does not reward your enthusiasm. It rewards your execution. If you track your goals, if you manage your time, and if you maintain your discipline, you are going to grow. It does not matter how uninspired you might feel on any given day. But if you only act when your emotions give you permission, you are going to stay trapped in a cycle of big effort followed by total collapse. The champions of this life do not wake up every single day feeling super motivated. They wake up organized. They have built a life that just moves forward automatically because their systems carry them right through those emotional low points. Structure protects your progress at the exact moment when your inspiration dies. There is nothing glamorous about structure at all. It is repetition. It is scheduling. It is scheduling. It is discipline. It is routine. It is the unromantic, boring work that builds extraordinary lives. Emotion makes you dream about success. Structure makes you actually live it. Emotion wants results immediately. Structure builds them, piece by piece, over time. Emotion fades away the moment things get hard. Structure stands there firm, unshaken, completely consistent. Even when the thrill of the original dream is long gone, structure keeps you building. It does not ask you if you feel like it. It just reminds you of what you committed to. That is how success is really created. Not in the big moments of excitement, but in the daily grind that most people just abandon. The emotional person goes looking for motivation before they will move. The structured person moves first, and the motivation follows along behind them. You cannot wait around until you feel ready. You have to move according to your plan. Feelings come and go all day long, but your systems stay right where you built them. When you live by structure, your life no longer depends on your emotional stability. You are still going to feel highs and lows. That is just being human. But they do not control your direction anymore. You are no longer being swayed by your mood. You are being guided by your method. That is the real power of having structure. It gives your purpose real protection from your own runaway emotions. Emotion makes big promises. Structure actually delivers on them. Emotion says, I am going to change. Structure proves it by showing the work. Emotion says, I will start tomorrow. Structure starts right now. Emotion says, I will do it when I am ready. Structure says, I will do it because it is on the schedule. That one difference is what decides your entire destiny. Every great builder of a life, from the leaders to the creators, they all understand this one law. Emotion might begin the revolution, but structure is what sustains it. Without structure, the fire of your ambition just burns out in the cold reality of passing time. Success is not personal. It is procedural. It does not care who you are or how badly you want it. It responds to order. It responds to strategy. It responds to systems. You can be an emotional person and lose, or you can be a structured person and win. The choice is completely yours to make. Structure does not demand perfection from you. It demands consistency. And consistency, when you multiply it by enough time, it produces greatness. You cannot negotiate your way out of this truth. The world rewards the people who just show up, who stick to their plan, and who execute no matter how they are feeling. So build your structure. Build habits that carry you forward. Even when you are completely exhausted, build routines that protect your time. Build systems that track your growth. Build schedules that actually honor your real priorities. Build a framework that is so strong that your emotions become almost irrelevant to your success. Your feelings can fuel you, for sure, but they cannot lead you. Let your emotion inspire the structure you build. But then let your structure command your life from that point on. When you finally master structure, you master yourself. You no longer depend on luck or on random bursts of motivation. You become steady. You become deliberate. You become completely unstoppable. Your emotions are still going to rise and fall, just like they always have. But your results are only going to rise. That is the secret of the people who achieve more than everyone else. They do not rely on the waves of emotion to move them forward. They have built rails, and they just stay on those rails until they finally arrive at their destination. Success responds to structure, not to emotion. So build your life like an architect, not like a dreamer. Design your habits. Plan your days. Refine your systems. Let your emotion fuel your vision, but let your structure be the thing that actually delivers it. Because when the passion finally fades and when the excitement dies down, your structure is still going to be right there. It will be guiding you. It will be lifting you up, and it will be lifting you up, and it will be turning your effort into real achievement. That is how greatness is built, not on the shaky ground of feelings, but on frameworks that never ever fail. You either get your life organized or your disorganization is going to destroy it. There is no middle ground here. You are either in control of your time, your habits, and your direction, or they are in control of you. Chaos is not harmless. It silently eats away at your dreams, your focus, and your power. Disorganization does not announce its destruction with a lot of noise. It kills you slowly through distraction, through procrastination, and through wasted potential that you will never get back. Every missed plan, every delayed decision, every messy environment, it all piles up. It keeps piling up until one day it becomes a solid wall standing between you and the life you were actually meant to live. You cannot create anything great on a foundation made of confusion. Either you structure your world or your world is going to swallow you up whole. Disorganization is the thief that steals your energy. It steals the clarity from your mind. It steals the direction from your soul. When your surroundings are cluttered, your thoughts get all tangled up. When your plans are unclear, your effort just scatters everywhere. You start to mistake simple motion for real progress. Days slip away from you, filled with activity, but with absolutely no achievement. You tell yourself that you are busy, but deep down, you know you are just drifting. That is how disorganization destroys you, not with one sudden collapse, but with daily disarray that eats your potential in complete silence. To organize your life is to show some respect for your own existence. It is to say out loud and to yourself, my time has value. My goals actually matter. My dreams deserve to have some order. Most people just live in a state of constant reaction. They wake up without any direction. They spend all their hours in chaos, and they go to sleep feeling empty and unfulfilled. They wait for motivation to come and save them. They hope that opportunity will just show up, but they never, ever build the structure that success actually demands from them. Motivation always fades. Systems are what sustain you. Hope without any order behind it is just wasted energy. You cannot pray for success to come into your life while you are living in a state of total disorder. Life does not reward the people who are unprepared. An organized life is not about being perfect all the time. It is about being precise. It is about creating systems that make your success almost inevitable. When you plan your days, when you track your habits, when you set clear priorities for yourself, you are taking control of your own destiny. You stop being a victim of the clock, and you become its master. Every single moment becomes a weapon that has been sharpened by your focus. You move with clarity. You act with purpose. That is the real power of organization. It transforms total chaos into total control, and it turns completely average effort into growth that explodes. But when you allow disorganization to rule your life, you just hand over all your power. You become a slave to your own impulses, to distractions, to your emotions. Your life becomes an endless cycle of starting things and then stopping them, of dreaming big and then delaying the work. You say yes to everything that comes along because you have never taken the time to define what actually matters to you. You drown in a sea of small, meaningless tasks because you have never designed a clear path for yourself. That is just surviving, and surviving is the absolute lowest form of living. You were not born to just wander through a life of disorder. You were built to lead yourself using structure. The truth is very simple here. Success demands order. Every great builder, every leader, every creator you have ever admired, they all live by this one law. They understand that structure multiplies your energy. Systems save your time. Routines eliminate your weaknesses. It is not about being rigid and inflexible. It is about being relentless. When your life is organized, you no longer waste any energy just deciding what to do. You already know. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop relying on your mood to get things done. Discipline takes over in the places where your emotions used to rule. That is how real consistency is born, through the structure that supports your greatness. Disorganization loves to disguise itself as freedom. It whispers to you that structure is too strict. It tells you that routines are boring. It says that order will kill all your creativity. But that is a complete lie. True creativity needs some space to breathe, and only organization can create that space for you. When your life is structured, your mind is finally free. You do not waste your energy juggling chaos all day. You direct all that energy toward creating things. Structure does not imprison you. It liberates you. It removes all the noise so your unique genius can finally speak clearly. You cannot be fully alive while you are constantly feeling overwhelmed. Freedom without any order is just self-destruction. When you organize your life, everything starts to line up. Your thoughts gain clarity. Your emotions find balance. Your time gains real meaning. You start to see progress happening every single day because all your effort now has a clear direction. That order compounds on itself. A structured morning builds a productive day. A productive day builds a powerful week. A powerful week builds momentum that you cannot stop. Momentum is the reward you get for getting organized. It is the silent force that carries you forward, even at the moments when your own willpower is weak. But if you refuse to get organized, life is going to organize you, and it will organize you through failure. It will organize you through stress. It will organize you through regret. Missed opportunities, lost time, broken commitments. These are all just consequences of living in disorder. An unorganized life will eventually collapse under the weight of its own confusion. You are going to wake up one day and you are going to be surrounded by nothing but unfinished goals and potential that you never tapped into. And you are going to realize that you were not defeated by other people. You were defeated by your own disarray. That is the real price you pay for neglecting order. To organize your life is to build armor against mediocrity. It protects your dreams from decay. It protects your dreams from decay. It protects your focus from distraction. You have to start with small steps. Clean your space, schedule your time, set your goals, and guard your priorities like a hawk. Every single act of order sharpens your mind. Every routine you stick to strengthens your will. Every plan you make brings you one step closer to mastery. Order is not something you just stumble into by accident. It is something you have to build every single day with real intention. Success is never an accident. It is always engineered. It is engineered through structure, through discipline, and through clear direction. You do not rise up because you feel inspired one day. You rise up because you are organized enough to take action, even on the days when you do not feel like it at all. The people who win in this life are not the most emotional people you know. They are the most structured. They understand that order is strength. They know that systems are strategy. They know that time that is well planned is power that is well used. So you have to choose starting today. Either you get your life organized or your disorganization is going to destroy it. There is no in-between here. You cannot keep trying to build your dreams on a foundation made of chaos. You cannot keep wishing for success while you are living in a state of disorder. Life is always going to test who really deserves what. And the people who are organized, they are the ones who always win. Build your systems, plan your days with purpose, execute with discipline, clean your space, sharpen your schedule, protect your focus with everything your schedule, protect your focus with everything you have, because every single moment of disorganization pushes your dreams just a little bit further away from you, while every single act of order. You have to control your life or the chaos will. One of those paths leads to power, the other one leads to nothing but regret. And the choice, as always, is completely yours. So when all the noise finally fades away and when all the excuses have died, just one truth is going to remain. You either get your life organized or your disorganization is going to destroy it. There is no escape from that law. You cannot live in a state of constant confusion and then expect clarity to come and reward you. You cannot keep drifting through life and then hope that destiny is going to come and rescue you. Life does not honor the people who are unprepared. It crowns the people who are disciplined. The difference between success and a lifetime of struggle is not talent. It is structure. It is not passion. It is precision. It is not your emotions. It is your execution. Order is the quiet power that builds entire empires, while chaos just builds a pile of regret. So clean your space, command your time, discipline your mind, direct your energy with purpose. Let structure become your greatest strength. Because once you build order on the inside of your life, everything on the outside is going to start lining up perfectly. The disorganized people spend their whole lives just chasing after moments. The organized people, they build legacies that last. You need to be the second kind of man. Build your structure. Live your life with intention. And then you can watch as your destiny falls into place exactly the way you designed it.